Imagine just for a moment that you could sort of tap into this source of, well, essentially free cash. Money landing right in your bank account.
Yeah, often for doing things you might already be doing anyway.
Exactly. So today, we're doing a deep dive into the world of bank account bonus churning.
Right. We're talking about the strategy where you open new bank accounts, specifically to grab those promotional bonuses banks offer, to attract new customers.
And these aren't tiny amounts sometimes. We could be looking at $100, maybe $500, sometimes even more, just for one account.
Definitely. It adds up.
So for our listeners, people who want a solid understanding pretty quickly, we want to break this down. Is this like a legit way to boost your income?
Or is it just more trouble than it's worth? That's the core question.
Yeah, that's our mission for this deep dive. Really get to grips with the mechanics, the upsides, the potential downsides, the risks.
And maybe the best ways to actually do it if it sounds like something that might work for you.
We've looked through quite a few articles, personal finance stuff, expert opinions, to pull this together.
So let's start right at the beginning. How does this churning thing actually work? Step one.
Okay, so step one is finding the deals. Where do you even look?
Well, obviously, banks advertise them on their own websites. That's the starting point.
Sure.
But honestly, the real gold mines are often these online financial communities.
Like Reddit or Bogleheads, those kinds of places.
Exactly. Places like the Personal Finance subreddit or the Bogleheads forum. And then you have dedicated deal sites. Doctor of Credit is a really popular one.
Oh, okay.
They specialize in just listing out all the latest bank bonuses. It's kind of amazing how these communities have streamlined finding these offers. It's not just luck anymore.
Right, it's more systematic.
Right.
So you find an offer, looks good. What's next? What do you actually have to do?
That's where the requirements come in. And this is crucial. You need to know exactly what the bank expects.
Okay, like what?
The most common one is setting up a qualifying direct deposit.
Your paycheck, usually.
Typically, yeah.
Yeah.
Your regular paycheck going into the new account.
Huh.
But, and this is good news for freelancers or gig workers, sometimes those kinds of recurring transfers, maybe from PayPal or Stripe or whatever, can qualify too. You really have to read the fine print on each offer.
Ah, okay. So digging into the specifics is key there. What counts as qualifying can vary.
Hugely. Yeah, some banks are really picky about what they accept. They might explicitly say, transfers from certain other banks don't count.
Got it. So direct deposit, what else is usually involved?
You'll almost always need to keep a minimum balance in the account.
For how long?
Usually 60 to 90 days, something like that. They want to see you're actually using the account, not just taking the bonus and disappearing immediately.
Makes sense. They want sticky customers, ideally.
Exactly. And then often there's a requirement to do a certain number of debit card transactions.
Like buy coffee 5 times or something.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Or maybe make a few online bill payments using their system. It's usually not a huge number, but it's another box you have to tick.
Okay, so direct deposit, minimum balance for a bit, some transactions.
Nail all those requirements within the time frame.
And then the bonus shows up.
Yep. Usually deposited within a few weeks after you've met all the terms.
Yeah.
And then you decide.
Decide what?
Keep the account open.
Right.
Or close it after a respectable period, grab your bonus, and move on to the next offer. That's the churning part.
Right, the cycle. Okay, so given that it does involve some hoops to jump through, why do people bother? What's the big draw?
Well, the simplest answer, free cash. I mean, that's the main driver.
Can't argue with free cash.
If you're organized about it and you consistently find and meet the terms for these bonuses, even if they're $100 here, $300 there.
It adds up over a year.
Absolutely. Some churners report making, $1,000, $2,000, even $3,000 or more a year just from these bonuses.
Wow. Okay. That's not insignificant.
No. Think of it like a sort of hidden extra paycheck. It's not get-rich-quick stuff, obviously.
Sure.
But it can definitely supplement your income if you're strategic about it.
And compared to some other churning, like credit card churning, this seems less risky in some ways.
That's a really big point, actually. Unlike opening lots of credit cards, which involves hard inquiries and can ding your credit score.
Right, I know that can be a concern.
Opening and closing bank accounts, it generally has minimal, if any, direct impact on your credit score, your FICO score, anyway.
Okay, that's a major plus for a lot of people, I bet.
Yeah, and like we touched on, the flexibility with direct deposits using freelance income sometimes opens it up to more people, not just traditional 9-to-5 employees.
So it sounds pretty good. Free money, low credit score impact. Are there catches? What are the downsides or risks?
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely not all smooth sailing. There are potential challenges.
Like what? The time involved.
That's a big one. Time and organization. You could be juggling multiple accounts at once.
Yeah, I can see that getting complicated fast.
Each one has its own rules, its own deadlines, minimum balance periods, transaction requirements. Keeping all that straight requires real discipline.
It sounds like you'd need a spreadsheet or an app or something.
Definitely. Without a solid system, it's super easy to miss a deadline, forget a requirement.
And then you lose the bonus.
Or worse, get hit with fees, which is another risk.
Fees. Right.
Some of these accounts have monthly maintenance fees. Often you can waive them, maybe by keeping a higher balance or doing those transactions.
What if you slip up?
Those fees can eat up your bonus pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And another fee trap, closing the account too soon.
They penalize you for that.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
An early termination fee.
Yeah.
Or they might even claw back the bonus if you close it, say, within 6 months. Again, check the fine print.
Always the fine print. Okay, what else?
There's something called ChexSystems.
ChexSystems, what's that?
Think of it like a credit report, but specifically for checking and savings accounts. Banks use it to see your history of opening and closing accounts.
So opening too many too fast looks bad.
It can, yeah. It can raise a red flag on your ChexSystems report. It might make it harder for you to get approved for new bank accounts down the line. Not a credit score issue, but still a potential hurdle.
Okay, interesting. Like the banking world's way of saying, hey, are you just here for the freebies?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
They prefer long-term relationships. And one more thing people often forget.
Go on.
Taxes.
The bonuses are taxable.
Yep. Banks issue a Form 1099 INT for these bonuses. It's treated just like interest income.
So that free cash isn't entirely free. You owe Uncle Sam a piece.
Exactly. You got to factor that tax liability into your planning. It's not huge usually, but it's there.
Good heads up. Anything else?
Just maybe the idea of diminishing returns.
Meaning?
Well, eventually you might run out of banks you haven't used before, or the really juicy offers might dry up for existing or past customers. The pool isn't infinite.
Right, you can only be a new customer so many times. Okay, so lots to consider. If someone's still thinking, yeah, I could maybe do this, what are the top tips for success?
Number one, absolutely number one, get organized meticulously.
Spreadsheet strikes again.
Or an app, whatever works.
Yeah.
But you need to track everything. Bank name, bonus amount, all the requirements, the deadlines, potential fees, and how to avoid them.
Minimum time to keep the account open.
Dates opened, dates closed eventually, everything.
Okay, organization is key. What else?
Avoiding those fees we talked about. Really research the account before you open it. Know the fee schedule, know exactly how to get fees waived.
Double check you can actually meet the requirements without accidentally triggering a fee.
Precisely. And be strategic.
Don't just chase every single bonus offer out there.
Right. Focus on the high-value ones where the requirements seem reasonable for you. Some offers are just incredibly complicated.
Too many hoops to jump through for maybe a small bonus.
Exactly. Evaluate the time and effort versus the reward. And remember the taxes.
Keep a running tally of the bonuses received.
Yeah, maybe even set aside a little bit from each bonus, like 10–20%, specifically for the tax bill later. Avoid surprises.
Smart. Okay, so we've laid it all out. The mechanics, the good stuff, the potential problems, the tips. The big question remains for the listener.
Is it actually worth it for you?
Yeah. What's the bottom line?
Well, look, it can be a totally legit way to make some extra money. If you're naturally organized, you like details, maybe you even find this kind of thing a bit fun, like a puzzle.
For those people, it could be pretty rewarding.
Definitely. But let's be real.
It's not for everyone.
Not at all. If the idea of juggling multiple accounts and tracking all those rules sounds like a nightmare,
Or if you just don't have the spare time to dedicate to managing it properly.
then this probably isn't your best bet. There are other ways to grow your money.
Right, like simpler strategies.
Yeah, maybe less hands-on things. High-yield savings accounts are paying decent interest again. You could build a CD ladder.
Or just automated investing, index funds, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Stuff that requires less active day-to-day management than churning does.
Okay, so wrapping this up. Bank account bonus chaining. It can work. You can make some extra cash.
But it demands organization, attention to detail, and awareness of the potential pitfalls like fees and taxes.
You've got to be willing to put in the time and effort.
Right. So hopefully this deep dive has given everyone listening a really clear picture. The good, the bad, the practicalities.
You should now have the info you need to decide if this strategy kind of fits your style, your goals, your tolerance for financial admin.
Exactly. It's a personal decision.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. Now that you understand the landscape of bank bonus churning a bit better, what's your personal threshold? How much complexity are you willing to manage in exchange for potential financial gain?
Does this active maneuvering sound exciting or just exhausting?
Something to think about. Consider your time, your organizational habits, and what you really value when it comes to managing your money.